Is a quarter after the top of the hour. Hope you're on time. Okay, so this latest case involving President Trump might be getting more attention than all of the indictments he faces, in large part because it would reshape whether he can even make it on the ballot of not one but a dozen states for the primaries and the election process. Following Colorado's high court making this unprecedented move of barring Mr. Trump from next year's ballot in a 4-3 decision, those state Supreme Court justices say he led an insurrection on January 6th, that he was the one who sparked those riots. The Trump campaign is set to appeal the decision, but it's not just Colorado, as I mentioned. There are pending efforts to remove Mr. Trump from the ballot in a dozen states. So we want to bring in Congressman Bob Good, Republican from Virginia. Thank you so much for being here. How do you see this not only affecting President Trump's chances, but actually impacting the way America conducts business ahead of very important elections, considering that this is the presidential election in less than a year?
I think Americans know this is wrong. They see this as political weaponry, political abuse of power. You've got 7 Democrat-appointed justices voting 4-3, mind you, but voting to prevent President Trump from being on the ballot if he is a Republican nominee. The left will do anything, it seems, to rig elections, from relaxed voter integrity laws, no voter ID, unsolicited mass mail balloting, ballot harvesting, third-party handling of ballots, drop boxes away from polling places. And here you see where they're even the ultimate rigging, trying to keep your opponent or your potential opponent, the one who's ahead in the polls, from being on the ballot. I believe the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn this if they hear it. I hope they will hear it quickly. I think the nation needs them to hear it quickly. The American people see this for what it is. They want fair elections, and it's certainly not a fair election when we try to prevent the leading candidate from being on the ballot.
Well, and some Democrats clearly, as we saw in this 4-3 decision, did not think that he should be barred from the ballot. So is it possible that some of the conservative justices on the U.S. Supreme Court could find that President Trump actually did incite a riot, incite an insurrection on January 6th?
Well, he's certainly never been charged for that, and it was not an insurrection. It wasn't even an armed protest. But I think what the Colorado Supreme Court shows that even 3 of the Democrat or more liberal justices couldn't go this far, and they couldn't abuse their power and use it to keep a political opponent, the duly nominated person, if he is, from being on the ballot or certainly competing for the nomination on the Colorado ballot. It's a scary precedent that's been set. And as you noted in the opening, that there are other states who are considering doing just that. I think the Supreme Court will do the right thing. I predict that even some of the liberal justices on the Supreme Court will do the right thing and will overturn this.
Let's listen to what, of course, another candidate running for office, Governor Ron DeSantis, running for president as well. He was totally appalled by the decision. Let's hear what he said.
There was no trial on any of this. They basically just said, what, you can't be on the ballot? I mean, how does that work? What's the limiting principle for that? Why could we just say that Biden can't be on the ballot because he let in 8 million illegals into the country and violated the Constitution, which he has?
So he's actually saying something that we heard Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton also suggest, saying, you know what, President Biden shouldn't be taken off the ballot over what we're calling the immigration crisis. I mean, it is absolutely unimaginable that there have been so many millions of people who've crossed over and there not be a real system in place to support them. Do you think that this is opening a really nasty can of worms and that we're in jeopardy?
I think what the Colorado Supreme Court did is wrong, and I do think it's a dangerous precedent. I do think it's political abuse of power. It's political weaponization. I commend Governor DeSantis, who I've endorsed, by the way. I support President Trump in terms of what he's done, and I would enthusiastically support him if he was a nominee, but I've endorsed Governor DeSantis. I think he's our best choice to win. I think we need 8 years, and I commend Governor DeSantis. He's exactly right, and so are all the other opponents of President Trump in the primary who've come out and condemned this. This is about what's right and wrong, and this is wrong what these Colorado justices have done. And again, that's why the Supreme Court of the U.S. Supreme Court needs to take it up. It needs to overturn it quickly for the good of the American people. The American people and the people of Colorado should decide who their nominee is and ultimately who their president is.
Real quickly, do you believe that even though this is a historic turn, one that we have not seen in a lifetime or multiple lifetimes, do you believe that this is actually going to galvanize the Republican Party?
Well, I think it will. I think you're already seeing that happen. This abuse of power by these prosecutors who are persecuting President Trump for political reasons and going after him on these political witch hunts and trying to weigh him down with these accusations and these charges, I think has united the Republican Party behind him because they know it's not right.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.